Perfect example of how the mainstream men are falling behind narrative was always meant to be a weapon against men, even when it was presented as sympathy or treated like it was true.
Of course having a boyfriend is embarrassing. Are you kidding me? Now more than ever, we have more female CEOs, we have more female homeowners. Women are absolutely dominating in every single form in society, whereas men continue to decline. The men are getting uglier, the women are getting more beautiful, the men are getting dumber, the women are getting smarter. Women are pursuing the arts, their dreams, their goals. Men have none. It seems like the vast majority of all men are bums and losers, and the ones that do make money are fucking narcissistic and evil as shit. There is absolutely no benefit in being with a man. Stick with me. For generations, the one benefit of being with a man was financial. Now that is going away. That is a rare benefit to even find in a man and a romantic partner. These men don't want to fucking help you. And let's say you do actually bag a man who has money. Going back to my previous statement, the ones that do have money are narcissistic and evil. So that man is forever going to hold his finances over your head.
Yeah, so real quick, she's kind of regurgitating the men are falling behind thing, except she's saying it with clear contempt instead of the kind of fake concern that it will usually hide behind. And, that's why you have to be kind of careful with these so-called male advocates who will repeat, talking points about male loneliness, fewer men in college, or men falling behind. Like if they won't explicitly call out feminism as the root cause, before prefacing it with like, oh, well, first and second wave was cool, and then a bunch of other disclaimers, they're useless. Like when all they do is talk about how men are doing wrong, how men need help, they empower the exact women who hate men and talk like the one in this clip. They enforce the idea that men are defective and women are superior, which of course is not accurate. And that shit leads directly to claims like hers to be weaponized. Oh, women are, outperforming men. Women are dominating society. Women own more homes. Men can't keep up. Men suck, right? They're ugly. They're lonely, and they're broke bums. And it's like the future is female. You see, do you get it now? This is where it always leads. And again, if we look at neat numbers, not in education, employment, or training, women actually have higher rates. That alone contradicts the narrative. There are also not more female CEOs. Sure, there's more than in the past, but if you're trying to compare that to men as if they are dominating men in that way, it's just not true. And women actually are elevated into these leadership roles. There is an incentive for them to be there. Companies will benefit from being seen as, progressive, right? And that incentive exists whether people want to admit it or not, whether it's on paper or not. And even with that, women still do not dominate leadership, right? The only area women clearly dominate is college attendance and the student debt that comes with it. Homeownership is another one of those things people love to wave around. But no, women don't own more homes. Perhaps they own more than they did in the past. But the thing people like her will often quote, and it's kind of what she's hinting at here, but the correct one is that single women own more houses than single men. And Pew Research says this is because most people 65 and older own their home, and there are 6 million more 65 and older homes headed by women than men. And this may be because women in the U.S. tend to live longer than men. Single Americans in this analysis include those who are widowed, who tend to be in older age groups. So there you go. In most age groups, households headed by single women have lower home ownership rates than those headed by single men. So because women live longer, there are more single women in those prime ownership ages, right? 65 and up. That's why more homes end up in women's names. And women will point to home ownership as domination because they can't point to income.
Man can feed you, he can starve you, and that's what they're doing. So going after a man for financial gain and for stability in today's society is a moot point. It's no longer something that we can really seek out. Some may say that the benefit of being with a man is companionship. I don't know if y'all ever had a dog before, but that's a whole lot better. Having friends, roommates, that's a whole lot better than having a man in your life depleting all of your assets and beauty and youth and life from you. Therefore, having a boyfriend, having a man next to you is like showing the world, I choose to have a leech in my life. I choose to have this person who's draining me, who is not benefiting me at all. And in fact, I would probably be a lot farther in my life if I didn't have him next to me. And it's being proud of that. It's being proud of a leech standing right next to you, who's probably uglier than you. So fuck yeah, dude. Having a boyfriend is embarrassing as hell. And it always has been, but it's a lot more embarrassing nowadays than it has ever been. Stay single.
You might recall a couple videos ago I said that when these types talk about men, there's no humor. It's like pure hatred, this kind of bitter energy. Bunch of female Elliot Rodgers spamming TikTok. And now she's piggybacking off of that article from Vogue that said having a boyfriend is embarrassing. It's like being proud of a leech standing right next to you. She says that, and he's probably uglier than you too. Hey, bitch, just admit you play for the other team and move on. She hates men because she competes with men. She's been in competition with men her whole life and has always fallen short. She's a hideous person, both inside and out, and of course, has never been able to get a man that she wants to commit to her or love her because of that fact. She's a miserable foid.
Thoughts on the video going around of the woman who is a stay-at-home mom for 7 years whose husband has suddenly asked for a divorce that's going around is, first of all, empathy, because that's a very difficult place to be in emotionally and now financially. But also understanding, like, she probably never thought he would do that to her. When they bought a house, he didn't even put her on.
That's probably the case with most marriages. You never would think that your spouse would leave you.
The title of the home or the deed of the home because he didn't want to put that debt on her. But that was also so harmful to their kids because if he passed away and did not have a will set up, that home could have gone into probate and his wife and children would have lost their home. I don't think she mentioned her car, but a lot of times in these situations, the woman is not on the title or registration of her vehicle because he bought it for her. She doesn't even have her own line of credit. She's on his credit card and he's telling her, like, just start using your own credit card. She does not have income. She has a huge gap in her resume, and she's not the only one that has faced this. And I don't say any of this out of judgment of people who are stay-at-home moms or who want to be stay-at-home moms. I say it out of, it is time that we take it seriously in how we protect stay-at-home parents. Because if you think, oh, my husband would never do that to me. He's a man. The only thing they do is ever.
She almost didn't reveal her bias, but of course it came out there at the end, showing her true belief system, which is feminism. She absolutely is not an advocate for a woman to be a stay-at-home mom, even though she acts like she doesn't judge. And this is the thing. So many feminists will hide behind this idea like, oh, it's all about a woman's choice and whatnot. But really, they would prefer women don't perpetuate the patriarchy. You know, if a woman chooses to opt into the patriarchy, suddenly those same feminists who claim to be pro-choice, they aren't so supportive of that choice. Anything that resembles a traditional lifestyle, right? Anything we did in the past in America, they don't want women doing it because, hey, that's patriarchy and they don't support that choice. So the truth comes out, not pro-choice, always has been, at least in that regard. And you'll also notice that feminists are quick to call out divorce when a man initiates it with a stay-at-home mother. Because it gives them a moment to go, see, I told you, you can't rely on a man, and that further proves men are the problem. Meanwhile, they ignore the rampant divorce talk side, where women are initiating the overwhelming majority of divorces. It's pretty much unavoidable if you get on that platform. And I know exactly the woman she's talking about. I've seen the clip, looked into it a little bit. And her husband, he looks to be pretty rich. So she's going to be just fine, by the way. But hey, let's look at this privilege that this stay-at-home mom had for years. And then let's look at what she's going to be getting now. So the stay-at-home mom, she had the privilege of raising her children, right? Not having to go to work. And I think that's another reason that so many modern women dislike stay-at-home moms. It's because they don't get to do it. They're jealous. They have to go to work. They're bitter. And so they act out like children. If I can't have it, then you can't either. And yeah, it's quite a privilege, right? To be able to raise your kids and stay at home, not have to be a wage slave. That's a huge privilege, right? One that was given to her because of a man. So that's not nothing, right? Let's actually talk about what she's going to be entitled to after this divorce now. She isn't going to be thrown out on the street. And because she has primary custody, she's going to stay in the house with the kids. And if the mortgage isn't paid off, the husband will be the one covering it. The house is a marital asset, right? And that she's going to get half of the equity, regardless of whose name is on the deed, right? The title isn't going to cancel that being a marital asset, marital ownership. And so when the house is eventually sold, she's going to get her share in cash. She's going to receive spousal support. She stayed home. He earned the money, and he's well off, right? She's definitely going to get alimony. She'll receive child support as well, along with her share of savings, retirement accounts, other marital assets. Her standard of living is going to be protected. So, to the woman in the car talking about how sad she feels for this stay-at-home mom, she should be a lot more concerned about her own situation, because this divorced stay-at-home mom who married a rich man, she's going to be just fine. The idea that she's about to be like destitute or struggling to survive, that's fantasy. And it seems clear to me she is kind of spinning this up in order for it to seem like, yes, she's going to be destitute because it fits her agenda. Sure. And yeah, the courts are going to look out for her. Her, on the other hand, good luck. I'm sure she is exactly the type of woman I was talking about in the beginning, with a degree and a whole lot of debt.